So I am on my way to our brokerage's luncheon. We do one about once a month, and I always love going. We just you bounce ideas, and get to talk about what you're having difficulty with, what's going on in the market. It's always good to have that as meetings. It's always over food. You do that in the South. So I'm going to ask a question today. What is one thing that came with real estate that you didn't forecast? Like, what is the one thing you thought about real estate? Or what is the one thing that once you got into real estate, you're like, what in the world? Did I really sign up for this? And so I'm anxious to hear. I don't know who all's coming today, but I know our broker will be there. But I'm anxious to hear some of the answers to that, because I am sure that we're going to get some colorful stories with this group. And then I'll share mine afterwards.
All right, we're at the North Group luncheon, and I have been asking all of my friends, what was the biggest misconception that you thought about real estate?
I would have to say that I thought it was easy until I actually got out there and started showing houses and realized how exhausting it is.
So I was just telling you I had 42 showings last week in 4 days. Do you have any stories of marathon showings, or where you showed one day and you said I have to write the offer tomorrow because you were exhausted?
No, I don't have any marathon showings, but I can say I would say 6 showings is it.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Tapped out. All right, my friend, we heard from your wife earlier.
Yes, you did.
But y'all don't always work in tandem. So tell me,
We do.
You do?
Yes,
okay.
we do.
Well, you're lucky.
Yes.
What is one thing that was just eye-opener that whenever you got into real estate, you're like, is this really it?
I had a full expectation that as agents that were taking listings, that they would have the house ready to be presented for buyers to walk in and say, oh, this is show ready. And yet I walked in to outside of one house and water was literally coming out of the side of the house in South Side Savannah. I called the realtor up and said, there's water coming out of your house. He goes, why are you calling me? I said, there's water coming out of your house. No, really, why are you calling me? There's literally water coming out of your house from your, it's got a leak. And they didn't believe me. And another one, it was a gas leak. And I think you have an active gas leak in there. I've already called the gas company. Why did you call the gas company? I can't believe you did that. I said, I'm just trying to protect the house from being blown up.
I don't want to blow up today.
Right.
Yeah, that wasn't on my list of things to do today.
Or how hard is it to go over and clean out the dead roaches that are all face up on the
that's
floor?
true.
Or running around.
But in all honesty, that happens a lot here in South Savannah.
I know, but
Palmetto
the dead
bugs.
ones,
They call them palmetto bugs.
if they're dead, they're dead. A broom takes care of that.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
then also the tenants or people they didn't say were going to be in there, they're in their underwear when you walk in, you know, real estate, and they're sleeping there.
I have a story about that.
And they smell like marijuana. And you go, well, I don't think we're going to show this one today. I don't know. Yeah. Those are things you run into. You have an expectation that things are going to be normal, but they're not.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, you do go. I mean, we all do. Oh, yeah, I went into one 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it said show ready, but it was a foreclosure, and there was active mold, and my client had a reaction to it.
Was it good mold or bad mold? 'Cause it could have been like a good mold. Maybe they're making medications. You just don't know.
I have no answer to that. I have no answer to that.
Maybe they were a pharmacist. You never know.
Yeah, anyway. That's a good answer to that. You're right, because how many times do we go into a house and it's just, you're like, really? Really?
Yeah.
You crunch on the carpet crunches? Yeah. How about shampooing? Yeah. That's a good answer. Friend,
All right.
what is one misconception about real estate that you it just come barreling at you? Like, what was one thing you thought that was just, you was going to encounter?
That you could just jump in because dues. The dues that you with all the upfront, you got to pay for this, you got to do the
We have dues? What are you talking about?
the real estate course, this and that. So I had some people that kind of helped me along the way to kind of get started, but that was definitely something that I was like, oh, I can't just jump in. I got to do X, Y, Z and then be able to jump
And then
in.
pay.
Yeah.
The
And then
people the people that only like are part-time realtors or only sell 1 or 2 houses a year, I'm like, how do they afford it?
Yeah.
Because you're right, the dues are extreme, and then not our brokerage, but other brokerages, you had to give them a large portion of
Yes.
your check, and so I think you're right. That was huge whenever I got into it. Yeah.
I'm glad that we joined North Group because, like you said, that those splits
Yeah.
can be huge.
I
Or the
know
referral
it.
fee or the, yeah.
And then you have a little teeny tiny bit of money, and you're like, I worked for that. And now we're with our fearless broker, Lindy. First of all, how do you herd all the cats? That's what it's like, right?
I
All of
don't.
us?
I just chase them. I meet you guys where you're at. How about that?
That's sweet.
Well, I have to because everybody's in different places and different skill
We're
levels,
busy.
and yeah, all busy. So
Yeah.
it's good.
So what is the biggest, like, eye-opener that you found with real estate? Because you've been in it for a while.
Been in there a while. The biggest misconception that I had debunked was probably that others will work like I do. Agents are not the same, and it comes down to communication, your negotiating skills, your integrity level,
Yeah.
your work ethic, and your market knowledge. Like
Right.
knowing where you're at and what's around, and being able to guide a client. Not everybody does that, and communication is a huge one that I found that not all agents respond.
Yeah.
They're just not going to work the way that I will.
Right. Yeah. Now, how long were you in real estate before because this is something that happened to me early on. How long were you in real estate when you were sitting across from a desk from another agent? And when I say desk, a deal.
Closing table, right?
Maybe not even closing table.
Right.
You were just in the beginnings
In
of
the
in the
transaction.
throes of the
Right.
contract, and you think to yourself, how in Sam Hill did they get their license?
Unfortunately, that's a frequent thought. Probably my second year in.
Yeah.
After I learned the ropes a little bit,
Yeah.
and kind of knew what to look for,
Yeah.
and realized that not everybody else was doing that, and they're just, sometimes I wonder if Cracker Jack wasn't handing out licenses. So
Or they could pay. Like,
Right.
I think about that sometimes. Like, did they pay somebody to give them a passing score?
I hope not, but that falls back to integrity.
Yeah, I know. What's
Not
integrity?
everybody's got the
Yeah,
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This is my friend Kelly.
Hi.
So Kelly, you've been selling for quite some time as well, and not just in Georgia. You were in Ohio.
Yes.
And you were a heavy hitter. You did a lot of volume, right?
I did a lot there, yeah.
Yeah. So, even up there, what is one thing that you were like, oh my gosh, what did I sign myself up for?
Realizing just how much you have to manage other people's emotions is like a big one for me because that was hard for me. That was something I had to develop because I don't always notice that somebody else is maybe struggling or why they're struggling. It takes a second for me to catch up.
Yeah.
So that's a skill I had to learn, definitely.
Yeah, because it's not only managing the emotions of your buyers or your sellers. A lot of times with buyers, it's also their parents.
Yes.
And it's like, oh yeah,
Right.
or your sister's brother's, yeah. So, or the
Exes, yes, yes.
That's a hot button for me, Hannah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I just now flinched with PTSD just now because I had a divorce. Yeah, but anyway, you brought up a great point because homes are so personal. You're in their
Right.
personal space, and when you're in that personal space, it knocks down all of the walls, and emotions do get involved. I mean, that's where a home is where you get sick, you bring home babies, you know, you get ready for the prom. I mean, all the things. And so, and the memory, yeah, all the memories. And so, yeah, you're right. It's a lot of emotions that go into selling and the buying. So,
Right.
gosh, I hadn't thought about that. That's a good one. Yeah.
So
It is a
it
business.
is.
Yeah.
It's a business transaction for.
I was doing a showing and you saw the heights in the doorway.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
the heights in the doorway. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and sometimes people have to move and they don't want to. You know, like it's not a matter of wanting to, and so that's hard. And just dealing with, I don't know how to like. Sometimes people are a little crazy. Like, let's be real. I mean, you know, and sometimes it's because of the emotions. Like, and you have to kind of, as an agent, really be tuned into that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
they're not being crazy because they want to be crazy. It's because it's a hard thing.
Yeah,
So,
it is a hard
Yeah.
thing. And you're closing a chapter.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So-
That was a real good point. Okay, I'm here with Hannah Cooper, and we're at our luncheon. So Hannah, what is one misconception about real estate that you were like, did I really sign up for this?
The flexibility. It ain't flexible.
What do you mean?
I mean, you're working on other people's schedule, not your schedule.
What do you mean?
Like
I
when
only work from 9 to 5. I don't know what you're talking about.
you lying. No, you're showing houses when they're free and not working, and you're writing contracts like late at night sometimes when you're trying to put your kids to bed. You're not flexible.
How many times have you had your laptop in your kitchen trying to make hot dogs?
A lot.
Speaking of which, what's your favorite hot dog?
Oh, I like the chicken flavored one. The chicken hot dogs. They're not like beef or pork. They're chicken. They're not greasy.
You know, this is so funny. I met a guy one time. He was putting propane. He was putting propane into my house. You know, installing propane logs, and he was addicted to hot dogs, the red ones.
Oh, the ones you go fishing with.
Yeah. He said, listen, no, he said his cholesterol was 550. I remember that.
I believe that.
His cholesterol was 550. He said he was a walking solid. I said, boyfriend, you're a walking Crisco jar.
100%. But no, they have chicken ones. They're in a red package. They start with the G.
Waltney?
No, it's like, is that it?
Waltney be cheap?
They say chicken hot dogs. 100% chicken. And my kids only eat those ones too.
All right, how do we go from real estate to hot dogs? Okay, all right.
So mine is, we've got some good ones, by the way. We had some good ones today. So mine is, when I first got into real estate, I was so stressed out because this is people's largest financial decision, and they were entrusting me to help them make those decisions. And so I literally was walking through an office one day, and I said, I just don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it was a seasoned realtor, associate broker, said to me, she said, darling, and she had a real southern accent, and it was Lynn Baines, and she's with Remax. She said, darling, if you wait until you know everything, she said, you've waited too long. And it was so assuring to me that, I mean, it was the right thing to hear at the right time, because she was exactly right. Every transaction is different. Every transaction is different. And so you're gonna, in the beginning, have to either talk to a mentor or talk to, you know, a broker, if you have access to them, and say, you know, how do I go about this? But after a while, you kind of start learning, you know. But she said, if you wait till you've learned everything, you've waited too long. And that really just set the tone for me and made it kind of jerked me back into shape. It was like, okay, yeah, maybe I can do this. So yeah, you know, people aren't trusting you, but you've got this. So thank you, Lynn Baines.